Hey guys, what's up? So, in this video, since many of you are facing a problem in filling your DAF, that is not DAF but DAF of UPSC, that is detailed application form for UPSC mains. So, in this video, I'll be teaching you my personal experiences and those of other toppers of how we filled our DAF and how we can help you in filling your DAF. So this is presented by me, and this is the YouTube channel An Academy. So please watch it if you want to fill the DAF this year or next year or whenever you want to. It will help you a lot. So this is me, and if you want to read more about me, you can go to my Facebook page, facebook.com/romansaini.official, or you can simply Google my name, no problem whatsoever. Do like it and share it. Share the word as much as possible. And the thing is, I'll be doing lots of AMA session where you can ask me anything that is meant by AMA. And in those sessions which will be done, so what I want you to do is I want you to comment in the post below, and you can ask me any doubt, and those of you who have the same doubt can like those comments so that they are shown up in the news feed. Is that absolutely understood? Only that is the only way where I'll be taking your queries. Do not mail me, do not message me on my profile, because it goes in the other box anyway. And you can also message on the comment section of the YouTube. It also helps. So message me your query either in the comment section on YouTube or Facebook, and those of you who have same doubt can please like those comments and I will answer them. So I will be teaching you certain basics about why to fill DAF in detail or why not to fill it, like both the aspects. First thing first, which we need to understand right now, right away, is focus on your mains examination, because the major chunk of the marks are with the mains examination. For in my case, I got 713 mains and 154 in interview. So as you can see, this is the sole reason why I got the 18th rank, and it could have been, if the average marks were there in interview, it could have been further higher up. But if the mains was slightly bit lost or degraded in marks, so that would have impacted a lot on the overall rank. So the major marks are with mains, and you can control them very easily. The level of your preparation is directly proportional to the marks you will be getting in the mains examination, not the case in case of interview. DAF can only influence your interview marks, that is 275 marks. So many prelims cleared aspirants, what I have seen personally, is they just take one day, or rather to fill their DAF they fill on the first day itself. So I have seen it a lot. And many others on the other hand, they ask each and every of their seniors, सबको फ़ोन करेंगे अपने दूर दूर के रिश्तेदारों को जिन्होंने मेंस दिया है 50 साल पहले भी. They will call each and every one, from their college senior to their daughter-in-law to their son-in-law. Everyone will be called and they will be asked कि भाई which hobby to fill, whether I fill guitar playing or sitar playing or veena playing, whether I write singing or gardening. They will not will they take me to garden outside to identify the plant, or will they ask me to sing and dance in front of them if I have filled Bharatnatyam as my hobby? See, there will be various misconceptions, so you have to avoid both these patterns. If you have done it on the first day, it's okay, but don't be this group which ask everyone in the world and for about cadre preferences and service preferences for every teeny weeny bit detail, and they fill it on the last day itself. And even some of them help in the extension. They ask for the extension of the UPSC and then they fill it on the last day. So rest assured, both of these groups will be getting similar marks. Either you fill it on the very last day or on the very first day itself. However, those who are in the middle path of Gautam Buddha, they will be the guys who will be having the best chance of qualifying. I am talking about the final list. So why think to fill DEF? So why do you need to think to fill DEF? See, in interview, it's already very high stress situations. So the profile based questions are really the only questions what you can prepare on. Is that absolutely understood? So these are the only questions which you can actually prepare on, like your place of birth, your graduation stream, where you have graduated from, if you're an engineer or a doctor or an artist or commerce from law, etc., etc. What is your optional? Is it any different from your graduation stream? Then why did you choose that optional? Any significance related to your place of birth? What is your domicile? Which state have you been living in for past 1 year? What is your college? What is something special about your college, your district, your state, your father, where he lived? What is your profession? What was your employment experience? How will that add to you being a civil servant in the future? What are your hobbies? that reflects your internal personality and how you have groomed yourself over the years, what extracurricular activities were involved in, if any award, prizes, scholarship you have got. See, these are your life events, they are part and parcel of your life. So you know that what happens is these are the things which you have lived through, so you know these answer best, so you can prepare them in, let's say, 1 week very easily, and you'll get an ample amount of time before your interview, at least a month. So since you can prepare something, you have slightly high likelihood of such chances being asked to you. Please remember it. And when they are asked to you, since you are already prepared, you feel at very ease in a very stressful situation. So that helps a lot in calming our nerves. That is the sole purpose of filling the DAF carefully. Even finally, even 1 or 2 marks can change your service. You can get IAS, IPS, IRS, IFS depending on this, and your cadre also, and even remove you or include your name in the list, which is a very big psychological factor. Even if you get 1018 rank, it doesn't matter. If you are included in the list, you are the part of the foundation course, technically speaking. If you are not included in the list, you are not included in the list, you are just guy who got rejected in interview. So that is a very psychological booster kind of a thing. So please make sure you do each and everything in a cohesive manner, and you can take 1 week of the time, it's more than enough, but don't take more than that time, because you will be confused and you will not pay enough attention to your mains preparation. So anyway, moving forward, first thing first is your name. I should not tell you that you should fill it accurately. Do take the all the standards are from the 10th class mark sheet. Then you fill your address, whatever address you want the correspondence to happen. Then comes your home state. I'll be talking about it in later. Then your email address, please make sure it's normal looking email address. Don't use funky email address. Just write your name or 123 whatever. Don't use jazzy kind of email address, because it's written on your summary sheet. Then gender, of course you have to choose it. Then your marital status, it's already reflected from the prelims, so you can't change it even if you get married between pre and this time. So I wonder what happens to those guys. Anyway, I'm just kidding, no problem whatsoever. Your citizenship status, most of you are Indian, some of you are from SAARC nations, no problem. And your mother tongue, whatever it might be. For your home state, you have, if whatever home state you are filling, make sure in your cadre preference, in your service, if you are IAS and IPS, you have to fill cadre also. So for those, the home state if not filled first will not be considered at all. So let's say you are a resident of Uttar Pradesh, so if you have not filled your first preference as UP, so you will not be considered at all for UP state. Home state, let's say you have spent first 16 years of your life in UP, and now you have migrated to Delhi where you did your 11th, 12th and graduation. So in that case, it's not very clear that whichever your home state is. So if you do not want AGMUT cadre, you can fill New Delhi as your home state. So in that case, you can fill the first choice as AGMUT, which you will not get. It's very unlikely, because insider vacancy are always less than the outsider vacancy. And in second case, let's say you can fill any other state, so you'll have a better chance of getting into it. For like this is it about home state. Then date of birth, obviously date of birth, place of birth you can't change it, community, whichever community you belong to, fill it. Center, it's already from the prelims examination, optional is from pre. Language for written is already I think specified. Language for interview, whichever language you are comfortable in, it you can choose it. You can choose Punjabi, Hindi, English, whatever you want to, as long as you are comfortable in communicating in that language. Most people choose English, but you can choose anyone, there is no bias, rather they give more marks because you have chosen a regional language. Anyway, totally depends on your personality and the kind of way you portray yourself in the interview room. Then if you are physically challenged or not, please fill it. Then your father, mother, nationality, their profession, address and place of birth, very trivial details. Then if you have degree in hand, please attach the degree, or if you have passed the exam, please from the university or your college do get a certificate where it says that to whom it may concern, the ABC person has passed all the examination and his degree will be conferred soon, or he has passed all the examination, so there is no reason why his degree should not be conferred, something like that. I took that, I just got degree recently, and this exam passed, so when I gave my interview I had just this certificate and not my degree. So it will be happening to a lot of you people out there. Then finally your education qualification, 10th, 12th grade, post graduation, PhD, anything else. Then wherever you have been employed. If you are employed just for 1 2 months, I don't think you should mention it. At least 2 3 3 4 months of exposure should be there before you mention your employment. Then comes the service preference. Totally your choice, absolutely your choice. You should be happy with your service preferences, but the most people will prefer IAS. Then there will be, if you want, if this is your first attempt and you want only to be an IAS officer, then usually people don't fill IFS. Okay, usually you can fill IPS, you can fill IRS, IT. For those of you who want to be an IFS officer, after IAS it can be IAS and then IFS. Then in this case it will be either IPS or IRS, RT. Is that absolutely understood? Basic CSAT, second, third. In this case it can be IPS, it can be then IRS, IT. See, these are the four most commonly preferred service. Is that understood? After that it I will give you the entire details what I have filled, but this is how it works. So this is, have you just take a screenshot and pause it. So moving forward, it can also be something like this: IPS first or IFS first or IAS first. Most of these, most of 99%, 99.999% people will fall into this category. Then obviously if you have IPS first, so it really doesn't matter which you have second or third, because if you are getting IPS you will definitely get IFS and IAS. Is that understood? So rest of the services do not matter. IFS and IAS I am talking about. And in case you are filling, let's say, IFS first, so it really doesn't matter if you fill IAS here, because if you get IFS then obviously you are getting IAS, so you'll get IFS first. Then you can fill, let's say, IRS or IT depending on your caliber, or IPS, whatever choice. So this is how all the algorithms go. So anyway, this is my service preference. As you can see, IAS was first. Since I did not wanted foreign services, I would have given another attempt. So I filled IRS, IT, then I filled IPS, and then IFS. So you can see all the 23 services allocated here, and you can make up your mind whatever you want. Then IRS, Central Excise, then Indian Railway Traffic Services, then Indian Audit and Account Services. You can do 1 3 up down, it doesn't matter, but this is the standard which is followed by 70 to 80% of the candidates. Is that understood? So 70 to 80% of the candidates will be following such a standard. It's not a hard and fast rule. It's the first thing first is your own personal preference. Then comes cadre preference. So whatever home state you have filled, that has to be first, otherwise it will not be considered as a. So if you don't want to go to UP, you just not, you don't, either you mention it on the top, that means you will be considered for it, or if you mention on second or third, it doesn't matter, you will not be considered for it. So first will be the home state. Then it totally depends again on your choice. If you want to work very hard for the people, then you can fill states like MP, Chhattisgarh, etc., etc. Then obviously regional tendencies tend to grow up. So if South Indian people usually prefer Kerala, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, it's usual, it's not an absolute rule. Similarly, from North India, people will prefer Rajasthan, Haryana, Punjab, MP, Gujarat, then Maharashtra, then Uttarakhand, then Himachal Pradesh. Something like this goes on. Is that understood? So it totally depends on your preferences. Most of the cadres are good. It totally depends on how you want to work. If you want close to your region, the similar language, similar culture, etc., then you can fill accordingly. I'll show you how I filled. So this was my cadre preference. So I filled Rajasthan first, then Haryana, then MP, then Uttarakhand, and then Gujarat. So this is how you have to fill for IAS as well as IPS. So this was the order of preferences. You can see for yourself and enjoy. And then you have to answer this question: have you ever been debarred by any public service commission from their selection examination, and whether you have been recruited or selected? So this is my, so it includes your current attempt also. So it was first, and details of examination you are appearing. So this was it. Then have you ever accepted allocation to a service post and then your state of domicile where you are residing. Then comes the dreadful list of prizes, medals, and scholarship. Be very frank, if you have won any prizes, let's say you wrote an essay and you got prize, you participated in a quiz, you got prize. These are the trivial kind of prizes. Even if you get Nobel Prize, you should mention it here. Even if you get Pulitzer Prize, you can mention it here. From as trivial as writing a small essay and getting a bronze medal or a fifth prize, it doesn't matter. You participated in a science quiz, you got best student or best quizzer award or whatever it is, any award which you have got, any medal like for performing exceptionally well in an academia or in athletics or whatever, or any sports, and if you got any scholarship, you should just mention it here, as simple as that. Prizes can include like clearing by Olympiad, getting a book prize, and all that is also included. So you can extend its definition. Do not it doesn't matter if you leave it blank or not, frankly speaking, but if you can write one or two, it's always good. Then games, if you have really played any game at least district level, you should mention it here. If you have done mountaineering, if you are from NCC sports teams, games, hitchhiking, etc., kind of adventure physical thing, they are asking for physical sports here. So even if you have played chess and all, that also counts. So in that scenario, if you have done anything, please mention it there. Then position of distinctionship held in leadership and school and college. Do not write that you are monitor of class 5th. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So that is stupid on your part if you do it. However, if you write your head boy or head girl of your school, that's okay. If you were president of your student union, that is also okay. If you have done any bit of leadership role where you were given some responsibility and powers, where you are supposed to act according to certain rules, so that is a position of distinction. It's absolutely clear. Then these three things really doesn't matter, even if you fill them blank, it's okay, but I don't think you should leave this thing blank. The golden rule is, do not read a book on your hobby. Do not read a book on your hobby. You do not have time right now. You can read it later if you want to, but that doesn't serve our purpose at all. Then do not write more than 2 to 3 hobbies. Maximum 3 hobbies. Don't go beyond that at any cost, because you have to read them and it will be a literally pain somewhere in your body and you will not like it. Then do not just go through don't go through books on hobbies, what to find hobbies. See, whatever you do in free time is a hobby. The best thing which I like is listening to music, which most people can write, watching movies, playing cricket, watching cricket, swimming, solving puzzles, some music instrument, if you play guitar, anything works in a hobby, it doesn't matter. But just make sure that you read something about it before you go inside. That's it. Then this was the my particulars, so you can read it, it's not a big deal. And as you can see here, it was swimming, playing guitar, and puzzle solving. So in swimming, let's say you can read about 4 things, like what are the strokes of swimming, which was the best swimmer in India, what is the size of pool, when what is introduced in Olympics, and all those trivial details. And then why do you swim, how do you swim, why do you like swim, where do you swim, and how much time can you cross the pool, do you think swimming is good, do you think swimming should be encouraged, what India is doing to encourage swimming, what is the nodal authority which controls swimming as a sport in India, and etc, etc. Certain questions which are commonsensical, which will automatically arrive in any person which having a sense of curiosity. Similarly, in playing guitar, what is the shape of guitar? How many guitars are there? Number of strings in guitar? Who is the best guitar player in the world according to you? Who is the best guitar player in India? Do government of India do anything to promote guitar playing in India? Do you think guitar is the best musical instrument? How do you play guitar? Why do you play guitar? Since when you are playing guitar? Which guitar do you play? When do you play guitar? When you are already stuffed with preparing for UPSC? See, these are the questions which are extremely commonsensical. Just now I thought and I just bombarded them with you. This is how it goes. Similarly, in puzzle solving, they asked me which puzzle do you solve. So I said Rubik's cube. So who said who is Rubik's? Then I said he was from Hungary. He discovered this cube. What was his profession? He was an architect. What is the world record of solving Rubik's cube? It's around 6 seconds. How much time do you take? I said 1 minute. So this is how it progresses. See, it builds upon your question and answers. So I think this is it. And the final thing is the summary sheet. So this is the thing which goes according to the board members. So this is the chairman here, and one board member here, one board member here. So these four will be having a summary sheet only. He will have your complete profile, the complete DAF rather, and these will be having your summary sheet. So the question they will be asking will be totally from summary sheet. It has your basic profile, your name, your state, your father's name, their profession, etc., etc. Then hobbies and extracurricular activities, plus prizes and medals, plus games and team sports, plus position of distinction held, and your educational qualification, 10th, 12th, and graduation and above. So this is where most of the profile based questions will be asked. Some of will be asked from outside, as this guy has DAF, the chairman. Otherwise, all these four members will be asking the questions from your summary sheet. So guys, I hope you like the video. And which series do you want me to continue, by the way? I didn't get enough responses from you guys. Come on guys, wake up यार. And do let me know in the comment section. डेफ भरने में एक हफ्ते से ज़्यादा टाइम मत लगाना, टोटली टाइम वेस्ट हो जाएगा. मेंस के लिए पढ़ लो, दैट विल बी फार मोर हेल्पफुल. If I would have wasted a lot of time in filling DEF, which I did not, so I would have not been sitting here enjoying. So anyways, do let me know whatever you want to do, which series you want me to continue. If you still have any problem in DEF, do comment in the comment section below, and please like the video so that I know that these kind of help out of academics also helps. So anyways, so this is the YouTube channel Unacademy. Do like, share and subscribe. And this is the Facebook page, facebook.com/mynameromansaini.official. This is the Twitter account @romansaini. Do like, do share and do subscribe. And thank you for watching the video. Have an awesome day.